Sehr schön. All right, then let's start. Hello again, Blue Camp. Another interview, and as you may notice, two differences. First of all, this is the first interview we're doing in English, and also our first female participant, Kisa, is today with us, or as some of you may know her, Mama Lia. And I am very, very excited. It's going to be a magical experience, including a lot of bad puns from me, but you will see that. All right, so let's get started. Kisa, hello, and thank you very much that you're with us today.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to be closer to the microphone because I've had a few issues with microphones. Wait, I'll just...
I hear you perfectly well.
Yes, that during the interviews themselves, we could always hear each other, but the microphone couldn't hear me so well. And I think I figured out the reasons why, but this time it will hopefully be a little bit better. But Kisa, it's not about me and my incompetence with technology. So let's get started about you. I've already named the two names under which you are probably known for in the Blue Camp, but why don't you just start and introduce yourself to everybody, say who you are, where you come from, the usual stuff.
Okay. So most of you know me as Kisa. Actually, my name is in fact Laura. But since there are a lot of Lauras in this world, I've been dubbed Kisa years ago. So I just stick with it. It's okay, and everybody knows me by this name. And a lot of people already deny that I'm Laura. So yeah, let's stick with it. But this is also why my character is Mama Lia, which started before she went into the magic, down the magic route as Linnea. So yeah, it was my first character. So she was very close to me in the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know how you came to that idea at all, with me being called Tim and my first character being called Timotheus. Where that line of thought, who
I don't
knows?
know. Maybe it's
Yes.
just I listened to this name kind of.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm around the Blue Camp since 2011, I think. It's been a
2011.
while.
Yes,
It's been a while.
this is starting to get slightly scary because I started 2011 as well, and you named your character because with me it was I was so for me it was my very first LARP event. I never LARPed
Hmm.
before, and I was so petrified that somewhere something really exciting would take place, but I'm so involved with the thing I'm currently attending, and somebody calls my name and I do not hear them because I
Yeah.
don't realize they call me by a different name, so I will just ignore it and completely miss the complete epicness of whatever happens, till I sort of found out, okay, no, actually the transition of getting used to your character name is quite simple.
Yeah.
But well, by that stage the name had stuck and it was too late to change the name, and so you're stuck with Timotheus. But yes.
I get the train of thought. I get it.
Yes,
I totally
yes,
do.
but then also we've started the same year because I've got a couple of people in the Blue Camp who I always tell, oh, I'm convinced you're at least as long or longer in the camp, and they tell me
Hmm.
then, oh no, I started the same year as you, or no, I started after you, and I say,
Hmm.
well, that can't be. You are someone. Surely you started 5 years before
You've
me or something.
always been there.
Yes, exactly. That's how it feels to me, at least. And yeah, so interesting that because I didn't realize, and I mean I've known you now for almost 10 years, technically.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, well, sort of not consciously in the very first year because everything was so much and so new. But since then, we've been on a few car journeys to certain events, and we've talked. And I knew your name was Laura, but you're definitely in my brain you're saved under Kisa. So and until you just mentioned it now, oh yeah, shit, that isn't her name
It's the
actually.
same for everybody. It's the
Yes.
same for everybody. As I said, people deny that I am actually called Laura, or utterly horrified when I just stated like, "This is my passport. This is really, it is my name."
Okay.
Also, mail is also arriving on the Kisa
Okay. Fair
very
enough.
often.
Fair enough. Well, I haven't had anything arrive under Tumultius yet, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Okay, and maybe a question I like to ask everybody who I get the chance to: how did you actually start in lab? Which path, winding, twisting path did you take until you ended up in lab?
It was a very twisting path, and it always passed around like a slalomed around
Mm,
LARP for my whole life, I think, because I'm originally from like a small city in the vicinity of Nuremberg.
mm-hmm,
In Nuremberg, I've started attending like medieval fantasy, etc., events like markets or board game evenings, taverns, not LARP taverns, but like taverns which are like more medievally,
mm,
because there's a lot of this in Nuremberg,
mm.
obviously. And also, I ran into vampire LARPers a lot, and I just didn't get it. Like they were there and I talked to them in their characters, which I noticed years later. Or they have been like people have been telling me they do this
Mm,
and stuff like this. I was like, oh, cool, cool,
mm,
cool. But since I never also played like pen and paper was
mm,
very not a thing for me then. Um, like Bavarian Village, you know. I know all the shenanigans of being in the nature, building stuff, and having to deconstruct it again because somebody is annoyed by it, and But the rest wasn't on my table at that point. And for university, I moved to Düsseldorf. Uh, I didn't have any time in my first studies because it was very exhausting. Then I switched and I came to Cologne. And a friend of mine from the Westerwald was like, "Oh, I'm doing LARP." And I was like, I'm intrigued because at that point I started pen and paper already because of my girlfriend at that time. Cthulhu. I started with Cthulhu. I never played D&D before or
mm-hmm.
DSA. I was Cthulhu and Engel. Um, and then a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, and I'm doing LARP now, and there's a tavern, and you could maybe come with me." And I'm like, "Okay." I was in the Westerwald in the tavern, and of course I had a Ranger elf character as my very first character. She also started with an L. Um, but since I basically grew up in the forest,
Mm.
I could do trekking, so I was like, haha, I can do stuff. Um, not no no I couldn't. I was good at sewing at that point because I'm doing cosplay for over 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't the problem. Everything else was like, wow, cool people. I'm here. I drink stuff. Yeah, and then I was like, I want to do this more. So I searched for a group. I think it was on the Ning actually, which was very intimidating at that time because I went in there. There are so many awesome people who are very horrible to each other. Okay, I close
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Um, so I asked for a group. I found a group. It was maybe some of you might know it, the Wanderfalken with Tim and Linda, which were then also at the Blue Camp with the new crew. That time the Cerberus crew. And I was with the Wanderfalken with my elf, and then Linda was like, "Oh, I want to do a pirate crew," and the Blue Camp. And I heard a lot of this. I was like, "Ah,
Uh,
this is cool." And then they basically half of the Wanderfalken also went to go into the pirate crew of the Cerberus, and then I went to a con with them, and it was my second event. Like my first was with the elf, like actual con. The second was already with Linnea because I was like, I have no idea of ships and sailing and pirate stuff. So maybe I do your cabin girl messenger thingy.
but there's so
Yeah,
many people in the blue camp who like, oh yeah, I'm a salty sea dog, but I don't know starboard from backport and everything. So you know, yeah. So it's fine. A lot of us just get by bullshitting. Yeah, yeah, I know that stuff, but we're on land now. We don't need it here.
yeah. But at that time it was, I mean, my captain was Luciferia Longnail. And I was
Yes.
like, oh shit, she has a name. I can fuck this up.
Yeah, yeah. She
I'm
was
like,
one of the
okay.
people, one of the first people, sort of like, I got to know, oh yeah, that is one person you don't want to piss off, especially as a complete
Yes.
user. Oh, fuck me.
Also, like the crew was very involved in
Yeah.
a lot of things at camp because, like Tim and Linda, the same as Chris, so Vincenza, have been around for ages, basically. So I've been thrown right into the middle of this, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Hmm.
So yeah, that was my first Drachenfest,
Okay.
2011. I tried to survive, and I had fun doing it.
Yes, no, I just remember 2011, I was there for the first time, never done anything like it, and I sort of kept having to pick up my jaw because
Mm.
it was so amazing the whole time,
Hmm.
and it's just everything was great, and I decided, well, that was fun, let's do that again. But
Yeah.
the story where you just said you played a wood elf tracker and everything, it just reminded me of the story, and it's sort of, I think it's a very German LARP story. I wonder how our friends from Spain will react to it. But apparently, in the in the past in Germany, uh, when you went to LARP events, it was sort of a point-based system, and if you
Hmm.
did certain things, you would gather experience, and then you could increase your level. And there was apparently a story about this pathfinder, this ranger, this scout, who led a group of people into the forest. And by the end of the day, they had to call up the organizers of the event because they got completely lost. They got so lost, they didn't know where they were, they didn't know how to get back. Somebody had to drive to them, pick them up with a car, and drive them back.
Oh
And
damn.
and by the end of the event, you always went and you told the people what you did, and then they would write you down the points. And this guy who had led the people into the middle of nowhere and couldn't find back, he insisted on getting points for tracking, which I just find very, very amusing. But fair enough.
Well, they never asked where he would track them.
Yes, I suppose. I suppose. But yeah, it's just.
Oh boy,
It's.
poor
I
people.
mean, I hope it's true. I certainly wasn't involved, but I just hope it's true because it's such a lovely story. I mean, with some of stories I've heard in lab, where I just go, oh Jesus, I hope they are true because, and knowing just LARPers, I would say
Yes,
they probably are true.
absolutely. I mean, I have actually played a tracker at
Mm,
a pre-written game, De la Bête, in the Czech Republic.
mm,
I was a tracker character. I had a map, and it was a lot of grounds.
mm,
So I had two poor guys having to follow me because I was their tracker
mm.
per plot and stuff. We were players, but it was pre-written. So they got to spend 3 days, the whole time in the woods. We all missed all lunches, all dinners. We were like sustaining on candied ginger and apples.
Mm.
We were trekking somewhere, and you were like, "Are you sure you know where to go?" Yes, I know, but the ways are very long. Actually, one of those poor souls were one of our Spaniards. Yes,
Oh, really? Okay. Well
we're like,
then,
"Oh, we know each other from the camp. This is great."
yeah. I mean, Jesus, just. I mean, it shows Europe is a big country, but the LARP community, the LARP world
Yeah,
is small, smaller than you think sometimes. That's
absolutely.
nice. Okay, and I just realized that you've joined the ranks of some of the people who I say you're a good person to interview because I ask you one question and you answer that question, but you answer the next question as well. Because the next question would have been how did you actually end up in the blue camp? But you've already sort of answered that and everything, which is always great because it just means less work for me and I'm notoriously lazy. So that's yeah okay, but your current character, Mama Lia, she is a magical character.
Yes.
And she's involved with what is known as the Circle in the Blue Camp.
Yes.
Yes. And, well, I was portray my character. He's someone who. There's two things he doesn't like and trust. One of them is warpstone, and the other one is people who are magicians in training. You know, magicians who are completely, educated and who know their stuff, they're fine. But magicians who are trying to become magicians, I don't trust them at all. Because, shit can happen and they don't know how it happened or why it happened or how to stop it. So I'm always very dubious about anything to do with magic, which also means my character just knows bugger all about magic. So, why don't you tell me and other people what exactly is the circle and what does it do?
First of all, let me start with the thing Lia would tell Timotheus.
Yes.
It's the ones who think who are done training you should be afraid of most, because they fuck up the most.
Okay.
The little trainees are usually looked over, or somebody in the background has at least secured a part of the area where they do their stuff. So not everything goes haywire. I think we had that 2019 where a lot of stuff went haywire because some people thought they were trained enough and the others didn't know what they did. So some other people, like me, put some kind of a border around it and were like, we told them this is not a good idea. Then they all went through the limbus, came back and were like, told you so.
Okay, well, that first part of the answer, if there's usually somebody watching over that person. If you ever, because this is not in-time information, it's out-time information. If you ever told him that, you would scare him shitless. You would really fucking scare him. So maybe that will come up at some point and you can have a good laugh in time again at my expense, but we'll see. But yeah, it's interesting. And again, I didn't know that because I wasn't there 2019, unfortunately, but yeah. But maybe
You're
it's a good
around,
thing.
you're so present. I always forget when you're not there.
Yeah, well, that was the only time so far I haven't been there. But
50-50.
maybe it was a good thing because, it would have scared the shit out of him. Like, they done what? I don't
I
understand it,
mean,
but I was told it was bad. Bad and magic are two words that
well, it
should
was the
not be in the
place of
same
power
sentence.
basically imploding, but yes, it was okay.
Okay, good.
So yeah, the circle. Circle of Magic. Or maybe some people watching this will go like, this is the wrong year, but I think it actually did start in 2011 as well. That was when Jani, like Mama Imnu, has been around a lot still, and Billy Bones. Like Mama Imnu was Leah's teacher
Hmm.
the first time because we were in the same crew as well, just as a random fact. Billy Bones was there, like Benny was there. JD was there, and some other people who were up for like, okay, let's do magic stuff because I think in this year there were a lot of magic users or magically interested or magically capable people there.
Hmm.
And since we have a lot of institutions in the camp, I think the idea was actually generated by JD to just gather all those people and do something funny together. So we did things, um, which also I think put us in direct conflict with the captain's table for the first and not the last time. Um, And yeah, basically we gathered all of the people together who had characters who were in some kind of way related to magic, to be
Hmm.
capable of magic, which is also one of the um, actually the only entry limitation for being a part of the circle is be in the blue camp, can do magic. This is
Okay.
two things you have to be. You don't have to be there, but you're automatically kind of a part of it when you're a blue camper who can do magic or is inherently magic or something like that. Um, so we started this thing off, and this gathering of people had to have a name. So we came up with the Circle of Freedom,
Hmm.
which was, by the way, the first circle on the Drachenfest. After that, there was a Circle of Wisdom and a Circle of here and there, and they all were like, "Oh yeah, let's call the Magician Circle. This is a very new idea." And we've been there like, Yeah, it's a totally new idea. Good idea. Good, good, good. At least we know who you are and what you do. So yeah, basically it's in-game gathering of all the magic users to um also kind of speak with one voice when it's like, okay, captain's table needs something with magic, those people need something with magic, institution has a issue, the avatar needs something, I don't know. So they can come to one place where we try together because we never had an institution building, so
Mm.
we kind of usually hang around somewhere around the place of power, so people would find us. And then we gather all the people together and then talk about it, if we do it, if we want to do it, if we can have fun with it, or if we don't.
Mm.
Out game, it is also has also the purpose to have everybody who has a character who does magic or wants to do magic or wants to learn magic in game have the possibility to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So most of our players, like also the ones who have been stuck around for a very long time, like uh, Jan and me and Toby, and also before that JD and Johnny, also Muffis, of course,
Mm.
and all the people I just forgot. I'm sorry. Um, we have in-game people of a lot of talents and out-game of a lot of playstyles. So we usually make sure that if somebody wants to do magic play, we will support them in doing this.
Mm.
Somebody will find, like, somebody's character will be a mentor or help for them, in game or out game.
Okay.
So this is the purpose of it, actually, and
Mm.
also have cool rituals. We had some very big cool rituals for plot or just because we wanted to, um, in which we also have some kind of rules so that everybody has their time to shine. So this is
Right.
basically the purpose of it. So
Mm.
magic people have guys like, especially for me, everybody who wants to do magic in the blue camp can come to me and ask like, okay, what can I do? Where can I go? I need maybe help or something. So if it's a personal plot or if it's general, I want to know how to do this. You can come talk to us.
All right. Good. And I mean, you sort of said if you're in the blue camp and your character is magically inclined in some way, you are pretty much so you're technically allowed to be part of the circle. It's just a question: are you an active member or not, as it were?
Like
Mm.
you are
Mm.
for us, like in game for the
Okay.
older characters, you are a part of it,
All right.
but we don't have like a rule of like usually in the first
Mm.
day go around like, okay, all magic players or magical characters come meet us at the place of power or
Mm.
somewhere at the time at that day just to talk about it. Then usually people come and we're like, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to participate? Do you want to play with your crew? Want to play inside the camp? Do you want to play outside the camp? So we just ask them, and when they're like, "No, I just wanted to check this out, but
Mm.
I'm fine. I want to play with my crew," we're not
Okay.
forcing them to.
Okay.
Maybe when we have a big ritual
Mm.
that is for the whole camp, we will
Yes.
go and ask them, "Do you want to participate?"
Mm-hmm.
But we don't force anybody.
Okay. Yeah. And what I want to say? How do I phrase it? Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me if you've got characters who are not magically inclined, they won't be part of the circle, but that doesn't prevent them from seeking game, or that you will you will need their cooperations, because certain quest items might need to be found for a ritual,
Yeah.
or some research needs to be done, or I remember, as I said, Timotheus is about as magical as burnt toast. But there have been one or two occasions where he was asked to participate in a ritual and sort of like, okay, be there, try to stand upright and provide us with magical energy. We're going to tap into you, sort of, and then, okay, do this, and okay, everybody's falling down, and now it's my time to fall down, apparently, as well. And, sometimes more active than other times, but yeah, so you would not have done that if you'd known there was people there who thought they knew everything and actually needed some more. With that information, no, 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 no.
Oh, blue magic is always with a twist.
With
We,
a
we don't
twist.
always know the twist, but we know there will be one. So
Oh God, excellent,
that's the
excellent.
fun.
I'm looking forward to being scared very much, very, very, very. Yeah. Good. Now, and again, you've. I want to ask a little bit about rituals and everything, but I think it will probably be better if you are someone in the blue camp and you want to sort of do rituals or something and you don't know how to do it. You've got the perfect people to go to find out, and they will either support you or just give you some pointers. And yeah, so that sounds very good. It sounds very good. But do you have something like sort of if I decided, okay, I've had enough of Timotheus, I want to make a magical character in the blue camp. What are sort of like, well, these would be the three do's and the three don'ts, sort of general rules of thumb, which you say, look, that's always good to start with or to
Hmm.
avoid.
Um,
And I'll just
but
sort of add the caveat. This is, of course, your opinion. Some other people may have different opinions, but
yeah,
that's fine. So these are just your opinions.
yeah. So basically, the first rule I'd say is the same as for every lab character you want to do is know what you want to do, think about how you want to do it, and also kind of look the part. I know there's a lot of discussion about no, you don't need cool clothes to do something. And yes, in the beginning you don't, but it is always easier to kind of look a part you want to play or have the gimmicks or something like the
Mm,
shenanigans and stuff. I mean, I started out also not looking like this. But then I had a little a rattle with me. I had some jewelry to make like to have some jingle, to have some rhythm for the
mm,
rituals and stuff because I was like, I don't want to do this. I need 3 bags of flour and put circles down there. I was like, okay, I just want to have music and move, like go with the flow. There are a lot of other people, but to move forward to point two in the blue camp, yes, in fact, we do have a lot of variety in magic play, but and I may miss somebody, but I only right from the spot know one person who likes the stuff with the we need lines and security, nicely, neatly painted and planned. Hi, Marcus. And the rest is like, nah, we do it free way. Like it's mostly we try to, of course, in small rituals or bigger rituals, we try to incorporate things like this is the line where nothing can spill. So we put people there who act the part in the ritual and not
mm-hmm,
just draw a line or something. But everybody can do it as they wish. But most people in the blue camp do it more in the free way. When we
mm-hmm,
had character passes with points, I think most of the people had ritualistic magic and not the stuff you have to go to the academy
mm-hmm.
for. But
Yeah.
it's also totally fine. I
Mm-hmm,
mean, no. Um, and the third is for the circle, like for being part of the circle. Um, be watchful that everybody has their spot and their time to shine.
mm-hmm,
Um, everybody should have their time. Everybody should be able to play their character as they want, but be mindful of others,
mm-hmm,
which is also a general lab rule. But especially when you do magic, we are all cool. We are all
mm-hmm,
can do cool stuff. We have all nice gimmicks or have done something interesting or want to do this in a ritual. But be mindful that everybody has that. But there's enough time and space for everybody.
mm-hmm,
So just cooperate and lift each other up and not try to just elbow your way like, oh, but I'm the coolest. No, we're all cool. You're you, and if you have your character and you know what you want to
Mm.
do, then just do you, but be mindful that everybody does that.
Okay.
And they want you to do you, and vice versa.
Yeah. So I mean, I really like the sound of that because especially if you're a new player, you'll sort of like you'll see people in the center and the spotlights on them and they're doing stuff and you say, oh Jesus, that looks really great and I want to be like that. And you're gonna provide the person the space and the time to do that. But also, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if somebody says, look, I really like being part of the rituals, but I actually don't want to be in the spotlight, that you're going to say, okay, well, if that's what you want, you just want to be in the background, then, fair enough. You won't be
Yeah.
forced. So it sounds really good because, with, as I said, I'm not really a magic big guy. I'm more or tended to be more of a combat guy. You can't sort of say, okay, well, we'll give everybody the time to shine. I could provide people, you will have the opportunity to die. I can
Yeah.
give you that. I can guarantee you death, but I can't, I can't promise much else.
Very easily, yes.
Yeah. That's the closest that I used to be able to provide. And another thing I know that we both provided at one point is, of course, the workshops at the beginning of the event.
Yeah.
So you do a magic workshop, or I did in the last few years also teach a combat workshop, just general rules for people who haven't read the rules. Read the rules, people. And sort of basic safety points for yourself and other players. I don't know, is there something like that where you sort of say where you say, don't do this will hurt people? I mean, I've heard of one or two stories where people done stupid things, but that's because they were doing stupid things.
Um, this is mostly concerning rituals we do
Mm.
when we do bigger rituals. So let me just cut back because
Yes.
you like, okay, let's talk about rituals a bit. We haven't done bigger rituals in the last 1 or 2 years. The last one was, I think, when we did the seal thingy, where
Yes.
you
Mm.
always also we dragged you into this as well, I think. Oh no, it was Norek.
Yes, I was
Uh,
going to say it wasn't me.
Poor guy. No, so basically, we in the circle we discussed this with all the other participants because we always try to integrate as much of the camp that
Mm.
wants to participate in it. So we usually go to the other institutions and captain's table and we're like, okay, we could need this and this. Who wants to do this? And then we come together with a plan and we do like a bit of a plan of like a stage play. Like, okay,
Mm.
we have these formations. Who wants to do what? We want who needs to be stationary, like can't move a lot. Who wants to move a lot? Like Miramele, for example, she's like ooh everywhere, and then Frida is very stationary because she likes to put her ingredients everywhere, and then we integrate it all. And the people who do the ritual lead,
Mm.
like for the seal, it was Muffis and me. We also talked a lot about it, how we will do it, and we are the ones who do the least magic play per se because we're just like the project leads, you could say. We're going around and give cues like, okay, this circle is when we do like this
Right.
for you, or when I tip you off, you start, and then we go like, we also tell the people when they're like, okay, I want to spot alone for myself, or I'm not that safe. Okay, does somebody want to do it with them? Maybe this works together, like water magic, water magic. Do you want to do it together? Yes, sure, let's do this. And so we kind of project manage this, and then we
Mm.
go on the cues. And when people don't get their cues, we watch it, and then maybe we go in like, okay, and we do it in character as well. Like we narrate the whole thing. That's why I'm always talking so much when I'm doing a ritual because I
Mm.
usually cues to all the other people in the middle I blabber. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just
Mm.
like brain off, mouth on. And then there's this cue, and when somebody misses it, I go in like, okay, now it's your time. Give us the energy, give us the energy. And they know, oh, it's my turn. Okay. And then you go, if they don't know when it's over, go in. So, okay, you've given enough. Keep it low. Let the others do the work. And
Mm.
so we manage this whole thing through it. So nobody should, and I hope it works usually, um, feel left alone, and everybody should have fun with it without worrying too much if
Mm.
they miss cue or do too much or too little or something. They just should have their time and space to do them.
Okay.
This is like the planning of the ritual. With the music is shit. But yeah, it's just in the big ones, but also in the small ones, we
Mm.
ask the people to manage this.
I mean,
So you should voice what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
excellent.
And don't be shy.
Yeah. No, I mean, as I said, as I have not really been involved in that kind of gameplay, for me it always was standing on the sidelines, watching you guys, and sort of thinking, "Wow, this looks really good," and everything. And I didn't sort of realize, well, how does it actually work? But now, where you say, well, there's sort of a director or something who goes around and will give an input. Now it's your time and everything, and then the people start doing that. Well, for me, it's at least it's interesting. I hope it's for other people interesting as well, and they won't go, "Oh, duh." That was so obvious. Every time I watched it, I knew what was going on, but this guy, it just went straight over his head. Yes, um, yeah. Sort of just. I'm gonna ask another question because it's sort of just. Um, well, it's a question that's not on my list here. It's that
Yeah.
stroke that cat and laugh maniacally. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, the absolute Bond villain. Like, have you been expecting you, Mr. Bond? Yes. Yeah, yes. No, yeah, now, has there been
Cat
sort of
button.
something, a ritual where something's just went spectacularly wrong, either in the result or just, somebody sort of almost being hit over the head? Come on, it's your bloody turn. You start. And they just, huh? What? I have a suspicion that there was.
In each and every ritual, nothing went the way we wanted it. But most of the times, because all the people are just like, do it, go with the flow through it.
Okay.
You mostly notice when people do wrong or something happens or something is just
Mm.
went off the plan. We notice it internally because you see this small fuck on the faces. And then everybody's like, okay, just move on. Just move on. I don't know what happened, but just
Okay.
move on. Like people stumbling over each other, spilling ingredients, or hitting each other with some have big fans or ingredients on the ground, or big pieces of fabric or rattles and everything. And I think each and everybody had something they fell over or were smacked in on their head or something like this, but there were some bigger fumbles, and the most famous one was actually in the ritual for the seal,
Mm-hmm.
when we had to break free the part where we had to place the blue seal,
Yeah.
and we hammered against it. Like it was Muffis, Nork, and
Mm.
us. I think it was Nork. And we hammered, and Muffis and I were like, okay, everything's according to plan, looking at each other like, not like this, but
Mm.
internally like, yeah,
Mm.
we're good, everything is cool, everybody did their part, they were all awesome,
Mm.
because we mostly then fangirl like, yeah, everybody's so awesome. And Norik's like, wow, and we see on the side where everybody, because all the other camps were there as well, and all
Mm.
the other avatars were there as well, and we see the black seal go, and
Oopsie.
the whole big ritual circle was like, oh. And I looked over like to the black avatar, and she went like, and Muffus and me were like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And Muffus took it and fumbled it, and it just wouldn't stick. And she was like,
Oh God.
and Norik froze. And I was like, just keep doing it.
Okay, yeah.
And
Because
yeah, and then we did it, and Muffets just held her hand like there until it stuck again, and we just played again. And everybody's like, "Okay, was this part of the show? Did this happen? We don't know, but everybody saw it." And oh,
yeah, no,
that was a close
okay.
call. We just,
Yes.
I thought Jesse would waltz into this ritual and send us straight to the other side
Yeah,
with no return ticket,
for those who don't know, Jesse is the OT
like
name of
Avatar.
the Black Avatar. But yeah, and I mean, especially,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing that ritual, and I remember Norik with a hammer and a chisel sort of was
Hmm.
working on it and everything. I don't
Yeah.
recall the black seal falling off, but maybe just from where I was sitting, I couldn't see it. Um, but you know, for everyone who was there and saw that, they must have gone, was that supposed to happen? Is this part of the plot, or is this just
Hmm.
fuck up and everything? And well, how do you deal with fuck up
Yeah.
while it
I
happens?
think I think half of the people were too focused on a
Mm,
lot of other people because it was a very big ritual with
mm,
also non-magical characters in there. So there was a lot of lot going on, which is also our goal on the rituals because also like the famous thing, oh boring ritual, the people
mm,
guarding it are like, oh bored, we don't want to be boring when people watch it.
mm,
So we have a lot of stations, like on a game stage play, where people could look at the people like, oh, they're drained, and oh, they're just doing it. They try to snap out of it, and need help or
mm.
something like this, because of the big Urstrom,
Yeah,
the big energy flow in the
yeah,
middle of the big
yeah,
ritual circle,
yeah,
pulling at them. This is also you can play on this as a
mm,
magic player, very, very
mm.
perfectly. So I think not too many people notice, but especially the avatars who are very, very, very protective of their seals because of things that happened before with a certain hammer. We're all watching.
Yes.
Like, oh dear, they
Sort of,
saw.
it's always the blue camp and seals. The combination always seems to have some kind of a consequence. Let's put it that way.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean, as you know, the you can distance yourself from any responsibility at any time simply by uttering the magic words "oopsie."
oops.
Yes, which means you no longer bear responsibility for that mess up.
The funny part is, I was explained, this is just when you're in the blue camp
Mm,
and the codex where it's written. I I had like Leah had a nice talk some late evening time as per usual with the that time leader of the gray circle of
mm-hmm,
magicians, and she was super annoyed by her other magic users because they did some weird stuff, and she was like, I'm so annoyed by them, I just want to leave them, I want to teach them a lesson. And I was like, and Leah went like, whatever you do, either be it a knife somewhere or I don't know what, just say oops.
yeah.
Next morning, I meet her again, and she, biggest smile on her face, went like, oh, last night there were 10 oopses going to the limbus. And I was like, oh. Of course, like me internally, like, Kisa was like, oh shit. Leah was like, I'm proud of you.
Mm,
After that, they were not unruly anymore. I
yeah.
think she was. I think she was dismissed as the chief of the circle, but she didn't want to do it anyways. But hmm,
Yeah. Yeah, well,
whoop,
it's sort of a situation where you sort of said, even if you wanted to keep that position, where you say, totally worth it.
yeah, she looked like it was so worth it.
Excellent, very
She was
good.
so happy.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna go because we went sort of down a path that I didn't plan and everything, but no, I love it. I
That's
really
magic for you.
exactly, and that's blue magic for you. Um, but now I'm just gonna bring it back to my questions that I have.
Uh-huh.
I told Kisa or Laura earlier on that at the end of when I'm sort of finished asking her questions, she's allowed to ask me questions or some questions, and I'm gonna have to answer them. So that'll be interesting. But before we get to that, what are your ambitions, your quests, your goals for this coming Drachenfest? And your cat is about to eat your hat.
That's not even where the bone is. Uh, yeah, just this hat has been with me for many years and
Mm,
many weather situations, so
okay.
he's good. Um, my ambitions for this year's Drachenfest, I don't really know. Like I had a very long like for I have played this character for a very long time. Of course, in the beginning it was like experiencing and discovering the magic things.
Mm,
Then um, I met Aminor in game Lexon, if
mm,
somebody remembers. And then Lia went along with him for quite some time and did quite some shenanigans with this super nice dude. It was like outgame. It was really cool, and I learned a lot of him from him. Also play wise, and then well, he did bad things, and then he vanished. And this was like the closing of an arc was then on the ritual where we did the essence
mm,
for the seal. Because we had some kind of a PvP at this point because he tried to get stuff back I still had and all this, and in the end after the ritual he did die actually, kind of because of me, but it was a really cool like closing of this whole
mm,
thing. um and then I don't know, I kind of went out to find new things to do. I did
mm,
a lot of kind of magic diplomacy, I call it. It's basically um I'm out gathering information because I like that and I can do that very well. And I like to interact with other camps and other players as well because I always also been to those priest convents
mm,
that there, and I use them like I gather information to share it within the camp or within the institution
mm,
so other people can generate play from this. This is basically what I
mm.
do. Um, so I'm involved in a lot of things, but never really. Like it's just I'm dispersing information,
Okay.
giving and getting. And yeah, I don't really know. I don't know who's there this
Mm,
year. Uh, um, the black campers, which is like the blue dragon and the black dragon, are very strong competition for Leah. Uh, um, so I'm involved with a lot of black camp as well, but I don't really have an
mm,
agenda. It's more like finally have LARP again, meet people. Maybe they want to do some things like I have with certain characters. We started stuff in the Drachenfest before and want to see what shenanigans we can do after
mm.
this. Or I don't know how about the plots. Maybe I get involved in plots again after years. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just have fun, meet people again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an ambition of us all, just to see that the crazy old
Yeah.
people, of course, is a big thing. And otherwise, I mean, in my experience, sometimes if you go in with too big a plan that you say, oh, I want to do this and that has to happen, you might succeed. But generally, the best
Yeah.
gameplay or something that I've had sometimes is just stuff that just sort of grew organically, that wasn't planned, and just because of small things that sort of bumped off each other, at the end something happened and you say, oh Jesus, that was a really great game arc
Yeah.
or event, or just, Jesus, who would have thought?
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Usually I
maybe.
have one point, like one thing I
Mm,
wanted to achieve, and then, as you said, it snowballs from there.
okay, but I mean, maybe if you say you have little to no quests or goals for yourself, maybe that means that you will achieve some really great big shit that, big stuff will happen this year. We will have enough time to get it done.
Well, usually this means I find myself at some point in the deep of the night, because that's mostly when I'm active,
Mm.
somewhere in a tent, trying to rescue the world again. And I do the Kevin Spacey looking at the camera that's not there, like, I'm pretty sure you're asking yourself how I came into this mess again. I don't know, but I just go with it.
Mm.
It's the best. I've met a lot of great people that way, but it's like, how did I end up in this mess again?
Yeah, that's interesting because I never asked myself how did I get in this mess. It was just okay. Where's the enemy? All right, attack.
Oh well, I'm not really
Yeah,
a fighting
I,
character or
I, I,
a fighter per se.
yeah, I know. It's just sort of it is very. I mean, we're both on the sort of same side and we work towards the same goal, but we approach it from very different angles. So it's just, I mean, okay, when you're just a fighter, that's the way it is. You sort of you're just interested where the enemy is, and then you just hit him more often than he hits you, and that's and that's fine. And if you command a unit or even the army, yes, it gets a little bit more complicated, but still, it's where's the enemy and when can I attack him. But a lot of other stuff, I never had to think, well, how do we march out of the camp so that it looks good? And how can we make sure that everybody gets an equal amount of spotlight? It's just, where is the enemy? When can I attack him? And everyone will have a chance to die. That's what we offer. Join the Blue
Yeah,
Army.
that is very true. Although the circle has a part
Mm,
that, like, we always ask before the big battle, who wants to come with us.
mm,
It's not that we tried for years to join the ranks of the Blue Army. It
mm,
never really worked that well, and the last time I remember the Sturmflut in front. That was when we were standing right beside the orcs on the flank of the
yeah.
side. And I remember the first one killing a copper person gets, I don't know, a TL or something. And copper was on the other side of the whole field.
Mm,
And then it was like, okay, we race there as soon as the battle begins. And the Scots were like, yeah, we do this. And some people, like the whole army was like, yeah, we do this. And us, the magicians, were all like, yeah, we come with you. Oh boy, this is not going great. And it starts. You start running, the Scots start running, we start running, and we run, 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 run. It's the first down when you went down, like brr, 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 in the
mm,
Copper Army. And we looked at the Scots like, yeah, we're here. And it just sees Hugh looking at us like, okay, you're here, looking behind us. And his face goes blank. We're like, what's up? The whole camp should be behind us. And we're in the middle of this big battlefield.
mm.
They were not.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were standing up there. So it was like 4 Scots and 8 magicians in the middle of the whole battlefield.
And I remember that year the army commander in that year had given very clear instructions of where we were supposed to be and what we were supposed to do, which meant we ignored him. Because we had also it had been a bad year in many, or in some ways, there was some frustration and sort of one of the things we'd never been able to do that year, we didn't capture the copper banner, which sort of it was a tradition we wanted to maintain. So there was sort of some
True.
talk, and I think even the Avatar at one point said, he would really enjoy it if we captured the copper banner at least once. And so the great big cannon went off, and just I started running, and the whole Sturmflut ran with me, and I was told then later on, because I didn't know this. This wasn't, organized. It sort of just happened. I was told, okay, well, as well as you, the Scots and some other crews ran, the whole circle ran, and the smooches table. The
Yes, yes, right.
all the cooks of the blue camp just started running, and well, because we knew when we were going to start running, because I decided, as soon as the cannon goes, we just go straight for the copper banner. We were very much up in front, so that meant that when all the arrows of the copper camp came our way, we were hit by them, so the Sturmflut pretty much died at the beginning. And I just remember later on, someone from the smoochies table, from the cooks, came to me and said, Timotheus, if the cooks manage to be more successful in this endeavor than the Sturmflut, wouldn't they be entitled to a barrel of rum? And I said, oh yeah, definitely. And then they came and said, look, we want that in writing and everything. And like, so I read it, and they, exactly the way they had said it, they would be entitled to. Will you sign this? Thinking they would get, but no, they just said, whoever was more successful than Timotheus and his Sturmflut is entitled to some rum. I said, yes, you're definitely entitled. It says nothing there on this piece of paper that I have to give you a barrel of rum.
Wow.
So I
So yeah,
signed it very happily, and then when they asked for the rum, I said, well, find someone who's entitled to give it to you, because it's not me.
but it was really funny. But that was when it kind of started that we then kind of weird of like, no, too much copper for us, and we just went down the hill like, oh gosh, there's so many fighters around us, and this is not a big secret, but we battle mages mostly bluff our way through this, and we're very happy when somebody is actually playing with this. Like when you stand in front of a big shield wall and I go like, they will just destroy me, and then we just do our things, and they were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what they're doing, but let's go. And you're like, it worked, yes, this is so great. And then we just barreled down the hill, leaving the smooches and leaving the Scots, who were like, what? And we barreled down the hill, and I just veered into the black camp, actually. I had no idea if we had an affiliation, if they were enemies, if they were friends. I just knew people there. And I saw the mages of the black camp. I knew, and I was like, I'm going there. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going there. And we just collected a blue-black thingy, and we went off like, okay, let's hunt golems. And then on the way, we found some red mages and golden mages. And then we kind of founded the anti-golem squad, which has been revived every year since then. So usually we go into the battle like, okay, we can stay with the avatar. Like last year, last time we've been the avatar banner watch thingy, where we mess with some copper people. Or was it I don't know. 1 year we did that, but usually we go on golem hunting, or we go to golem hunting before, and then when the army leader of the year is like, okay, we could need you maybe, and we're like, okay, where? Because usually they say, we need you, but not where they need us. Then we just kind of, when there's no golem again, and then we kind of come back, or we just move our way somewhere over the battlefield, and maybe we die, maybe we come out alive. It depends.
Yeah. Now, but just where you mentioned early on, battle mages. I remember I think either the first time or one of the very first times that I sort of commanded the Blue Army. I wasn't the army commander, just they were either, all the people who were above me in rank were either dead or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Sort of leaving me the default guy to command the Blue camp. We were being besieged, and I was sort of running around trying to get something organized and do stuff, and all of a sudden I had four blue magicians standing in front of me and said, we're gonna help, we're the battle mages of the Blue camp. And I said, excellent, what can you do? And they looked at me like, you're supposed to tell us what to do. I said, yeah, but I don't know what you can do, so tell me what you can do so I know how to use you. And they and it's just, where you said early on, if you want to become a magician, have an idea what you want to do, which direction, and how you want to represent that. And then something I said early on, read the rules. What is it that you can do as a magician? How can you be useful? Because otherwise, if I'm ever again in a situation where I have to command the Blue camp and a bunch of people come up to me and say, we're the battle magicians of the Blue camp, what shall we do? And I say, what can you do? And they don't tell me. I'm going to say, okay, you see this line where the arrows land of the enemy? Stand right in front of that and catch the arrows with your body, because at the moment that's the most use you are to me.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we do have, I don't know if they're still active, but we had a group of Spanish magicians in the blue
Mm,
camp. I forgot the name, I just won't fumble it.
mm,
But they were pretty cool and they had a lot of cool maneuvers
mm.
they wanted to do. And they all also did, and they were quite successful at it, I think. But yeah, the
Excellent.
rules, it's correct. I mean, sure, there are the usual dragon sys
Mm,
spells. You don't like, since we do ritualistic, we don't go blah, blah, blah,
mm,
blah, fireball.
mm,
But we like it says do a certain amount of time stuff. So if somebody sees you and thinks, oh, this person is doing a spell.
mm,
So we just do ritualistic. We have usually people with like rattles or drums or something. Like there's a lot of drums
mm,
around, so you can just use these. Um, and then we just do the thing, uh, and then hurl something at them. Some do the wind thingy,
mm,
some do something else. I usually go for the it's not an easy option, but I don't need to throw something
mm,
because usually I lose my fans
mm,
for the wind thingy.
mm,
Um, I go for making space by fear.
mm,
Like you then have to, of course, go in there and look very
mm,
menacing and tell bad stuff to them. So
mm,
they might go away or not or crush you. But also at the golems have very specific rules how to take them down, and you have to know it.
yeah,
Like it can look cool the way you want it, but there are certain rule points you have to hit to be
mm,
successful.
yeah,
Also with the eggs and the gates and whatever.
yeah. No, but I think that is pretty much the questions that I had for you. I've got one last small section of
Mhm.
questions. I found a very interesting website where you
Oh.
can generate complete random questions, and
Oh.
it's literally random. And so you'll get a chance to answer two or three of them, and you can
Mhm.
answer them in character, out of character. I don't mind. Once we're done with that, you will have your big moment to ask me some embarrassing questions or just anything, if you've thought of anything.
Okay.
And then there's one very last thing, and then it's almost over. I mean,
Okay.
we're nearing the end. You're almost through. Okay, so
It's fine. I am in this close.
mm,
I am used to talking a lot.
yes,
That's
yes,
all I do.
I, I I know what you mean. When I'm in these clothes, I talk also more than I'm used to sometimes,
Mhm.
and sometimes I shout in these clothes a lot more than I am used to. Very thing. I talked with Chris, Eric Petterson, the other
Mhm.
day, did his interview, and he sort of, we were in agreement. We're both just loud people because why should I go and tell people over there what they should do? I can just tell them from here, that they'll hear. I mean, the camp next door will hear as well, but who cares? Okay, so give me number 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Yeah,
I go with 7.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Um, what would be the absolute worst name you could give a child? Well, actually, no, sorry, your child. So you've got a child now, and what's the absolute worst name you can give it?
Um, there's so many options actually. Uh,
Well, that would be nice to tell your child. No, don't complain that you're called this. I could have named you this or that as well. I had options.
exactly. Wow. I hmm.
Okay, now I think I have options is a very nice answer. I will let that
Yeah, give
count.
me another question because it's like there are
Okay,
so many bad
okay,
names.
okay. Then another number between 1 and 10, with number 7 already being used up.
The 3.
3. Okay. What secret conspiracy would you like to start?
Hmm. That's a good one.
Yes.
I mean, in game, I've been told a lot of times that my character actually has started so many conspiracies, which were all hilarious but never true.
Mm.
um, what conspiracy would I like to start? I could think in game and out game
Mm.
of just starting to tell people that Drachenfest is actually uh like in the purgatory, so you have to fight your way back to life
Mm-hmm.
because you died. So it's
Okay.
basically afterlife.
Fair enough. Yeah. So it's the Matrix, except it's not the Matrix. It's purgatory.
Basically, like Matrix is hard to explain
Mm.
in game
Mm.
because people always say like, "Oh, it's Matrix," but it's not in game. So
Mm.
yeah, I try to not
Okay.
use this.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be funny.
Mm.
Also to talk this out with the priests of the Aldrachen Temple and the avatars.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Well,
we
technically, they wouldn't be the avatars or the dragons anymore. They would be just some functionary demon there to torment us.
maybe the dragons are demons.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Who
at
knows?
least
Maybe the everlasting change is the only good person there.
maybe the avatars will start their own conspiracy, saying they are in purgatory and we are there to torment them.
Oh no, the cells of Elysium. Oh no,
Exactly.
why?
Okay.
Maybe, who
Mm.
knows?
Okay. One
Think
more
about
number.
it, Timotheus. Think about
I
it.
will not.
Ah,
Yes. Go on. What?
shame.
One more number. One more number.
One more number. I take number 10 then.
Number 10.
10.
Okay. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done? I'm highlighting this one. I like that question.
Outgame. I would have finally offed or unalived either my bosses or my direct colleague. In game, well, oh, did she find that hammer that Lexon lost? Has she finally pissed off the black avatar enough? Uh, has she pissed off the blue avatar enough? Has she finally reached the end of her conspiracy? Whatever it was.
Okay.
That's like this is it.
Okay.
Especially in game, nobody would ask like this. Oh yeah, she was arrested. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Is she coming back? Is she coming? Okay. Nobody would ask
Very
questions.
nice. Very nice. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. And it's nice to sort of, well, I find it nice that you can sort of say, yeah, nobody would ask why my character's in jail. They would just sort of say, well, are we going to have to wait long? Are we going to have to help her? Will she come out on her own? You know, sort of, those are
Will
the
she be
important.
pissed?
Yeah, yeah.
There's two characters which I figure that
Mm.
if Leah would be arrested, would show up at the arrest cell. Not exactly to gloat, but go like, I told you this would happen. It would be Maligo and Redgar. Like the Black Paladin and our one of our circle mages from the irony. Those would be the two
Oh,
people
good.
showing up like, I told you this would happen.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Okay. So, second last part. You now have the chance to ask me some questions, and as well as me personally, Tim, or the character Timotheus. Oh God! Wait.
Oh no. I have to think of questions quickly. This is why you just told me before the interview and then kept me talking, right? So I don't come up with questions.
Um.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So if Timotheus were to find out that he had magic powers, would his first reaction be like his inherent reaction?
His first reaction would be something along the lines of looking for a latrine or changing his trousers. That would be pretty much what... I mean, sort of like, if you come up to him and say, oh yeah, by the way, we have this crystal and it lights up whenever it's near someone who's magical, he would think you're messing with him and you're trying to pull a prank on him, a fast one. He wouldn't believe you. But if you sort of prove to him, here, that is what... That'll be sort of amongst the first things that he will have to do. And then he will look for some of you people who are magically inclined and ask you some a lot of questions, sort of like, what do I have to do so it doesn't happen? Where's the off button? Stuff like that. You know,
Oh no, I'm now one of my biggest nightmares, an untrained magic user.
Yes, pretty much. He would hate that. That is sort of one of his fears, his unknown fears that you've just tapped into. That it's an awful question, and I'm glad you asked it. It has a lot of fucking potential, a lot of awful fucking potential. Yes.
Asking such questions comes with the clothes. They make me do things like this.
I like that. I've been asked a few questions where I said, oh, Jesus, that's a very good question. You know, sometimes a very profound question where you sort of say, Lucia, yes, it's strokey beard time. And then just, that's a good one. That's a good one. And as I said, he would shit himself. That's what he would do first. What he would continue to do then, we would simply have to find out in-game. You know, because he doesn't know anything about magic, so I don't know how I would approach that. And it would just be... Yeah, I don't think it would be a gift or something he would embrace, really. But we would have to find out. If it
Guys,
ever
we have an agenda.
Yeah, but just just for conversation's sake, you should imagine just the possibility what would happen to you if you come and you just mess with Timotheus. What things he would set in motion if you are just messing with him and telling him, oh, by the way, you're magically inclined, and then he finds out, they were just having a joke, a laugh at my expense. It wouldn't matter who you are, blue avatar or not. Someone's getting punched.
Well, Lia messed with Timotheus quite a lot, but maybe you just didn't notice.
Well, I know what you're referring to because I'm pretty sure what you're referring to. But yes, out of character, I know. In character, I don't know. So, yes, be glad, because, people were nearly... I was short... I mean, the two people who I sort of know were actively involved in everything, because they paid very specific things to Timotheus that he was happy to agree. He was about to mobilize a lot of friends and drag people into the great big circle and cut their throats. That was what sort of the character would have done. I knew, okay, I'm not going to do it. I have to be able... But sort of, yeah, he was not happy about that. He was not happy about that thing that you were involved in.
No, I wasn't involved in that one, but other things. But it's fine. Maybe you know at some point.
At some point.
Just come and ask. No. Okay, so would Timotheus either never drink anymore, like never be able to drink alcohol anymore, or what's more important to him, sailing or fighting?
That's good. Sailing or fighting, not drinking. It's a good question. I would say he likes to sail, like sort of any seafarer. He likes to be on his ship and sort of the freedom that has, that, you're constantly changing. You're not sort of bound to a place. the thing why sort of sailors just generally are always called back to the sea. He loves that. I would say he's quite happy with the fighting, but sort of just like sort of a tool, like if you're a handyman, you just like the power drill. So, oh, this needs to be opened, this tin of sardines. Okay, I'll get the power drill and just drill it open. Yeah, but you don't need that. It's not necessary. Yeah, but I like doing it. Just the toothpaste is stuck. I'll get the power drill. It's his answer to a lot of problems. I don't understand this situation. Oh, we'll fight them. Attack and fight them. It will work somehow. We're sending you on a mission of peace. Okay, I will attack them. It will. So altogether, if you had to choose between those two, he would choose to give up fighting so that he can keep sailing. It would be a sort of a question with a lot of caveats. Well, does it just means he has to stop attacking people? Can he still defend himself?
No, he cannot lay a hand on any other
Oh,
person,
Jesus.
neither with guns nor with a blade.
Yes.
And the other one would be he couldn't cross water anymore.
Okay, and
Like
that.
maybe a little bridge, but
Yeah. It
has
would
to
put him
hurt.
in a bit of a conundrum. The thing that he would love, that he personally would want to do, is to keep on sailing. It could be though that he gives that up and keeps on fighting, so that he can keep on fighting for the Blue Camp and for freedom. That is a possibility. And anyone who's watching this, if anybody is taking notes, I am going to get very angry. I'm going to get very angry with people. And yeah, very angry, because I have to hand it to you. These are some really good, awful questions. So, yeah.
I would
Yes.
lie if I say I'm sorry.
No. It's great. I like these questions, because it's sort of like, what would your character rather do? What would he give up? No, that's good. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for. So no more questions from you. Um,
Oh, so sad. We can have a nice talk on the Drachenfest.
yes,
I
gladly.
I think I come find you at some point and talk to you.
Do that. Do that. Um, just be prepared for answers. I can't guarantee what the answers are sometimes. Sometimes just, yeah. Okay, and now finally for you, is there any, well, just, I now give you the opportunity to offer greetings, salutations to anyone in particular, or to the whole camp. Not just the blue, to other people as well on the Drachenfest.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you for having me again. It was quite funny, and also it was nice to be able to kind of a bit slip into the character
Mm,
again after a long time. Um, Also, like the talk was very nice.
mm,
Also some food for thoughts.
mm,
Yeah, basically, of course, I greet everybody who's watching this from whatever camp you are or the city, institution, whatever. Uh, Greetings. One thing I would, which could be interesting to say, because I had that a lot, which have a lot of LARPers as well. I think just because my character is bitchy, I'm not. I'm a very nice person. I hate fighting. But if I'm going wah at you, it was my character, not me. If you didn't like that, please come talk to me out game. Because in time rumors going out
mm.
time is bullshit. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, puts me in mind of a book that I once read. It's a children's book and everything, so I read it when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
Now, and it had this line in it which was sort of very noble and everything, which I thought in real life it won't work really, but in LARP it absolutely works. And it says, the best thing in life to have is a good friend, and the second best thing is to have a good enemy. And so
That's true.
just, you know, if you tend or find yourself not being a friend of Mama Lia, enjoy the fact that you will have a good enemy, or you have a potential good enemy in her. Sort of as I'm sure Timotheus will realize at some point, a lot of the blue camp is made up of people who are good friends and good enemies, and both at the same time. So just enjoy that and everything.
At least you know how to hurt them when they come for you.
Yes, yes.
No, 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 no. That was my character talking, not me.
Oh,
Yeah,
and that
it's
was his answer. He says yes. He doesn't care who he hits as long as he hits something. You know.
I'm so afraid for your sailing. Don't mess up this year.
Uh, I just see he's gonna pay a lot at a certain place to get himself a ship that just sails across land. It's just a land ship and everything, or it's just a normal sailing ship but with wheels at the bottom and everything.
Which would be pretty cool though.
it would be to a certain degree. Oh god, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, because if you sort of like he can't cross water, what can he? What is he gonna do when it rains? And it's just the whole
No, no, no. It's like
yeah, yeah,
deeper water. Like a
body of
small
water, yeah, yeah,
stream is okay, but like
streams or
a big
bridges
river
and
is
everything. But yeah, yeah,
not too good.
yeah. It's just it would be a conundrum for him. But I mean, on the same for a lot of other people in the blue camp. I mean, like, what would you rather give up, breathing or eating? Well, I'm screwed either
Oh.
way. May as well take the breathing and get it over with.
Although I had a very, very funny thing with also this kind of line of
Mm,
questions. I think it was one of those nights at the power place of power where we just were waiting for something, and then people start flocking together from
mm,
institutions and crews and stuff. So you don't really know who's there, but you have very nice talks there. And then I was also asked like, Kim, so yeah, if you would you, I don't know what it was to give up, or rum, and I was like, yeah, rum.
mm,
How can you do that? Actually, I don't like rum. I really do not like outgame. I don't like rum. If I know if it's a good rum or
mm,
something, but I don't inherently like rum.
mm.
So it's always funny when I go to other camps, like, oh, you're from a blue camp, have some rum. Do you have something else?
And with me, it's quite often I love playing a little bit like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow. I love
Gypsy.
doing sort of that kind of movements, but I actually in real life don't like alcohol at all, so I don't really drink any alcohol. And when I'm in game and I'm sort of saying I am always drinking grog, which means it's usually just Coke, so that you can't see is there something in it or not.
Yeah.
And also just as I like to fight a lot, means I should be sober a lot.
Rules.
Yes, well, yeah,
Rules.
exactly. And so for me, that is quite handy. For some other people who, even if they say, well, I don't like to get drunk, but I like to have a drink and everything, that they say, well, it's sometimes a bit complicated where I say, well, do I have this meat with my dinner now, or do I just not at all? Do I just stick with water or with some other soft drink? But I don't
Yeah.
have that. So, yeah, so I would be also quite willing to give up rum or just alcohol. It's like, oh no, not my alcohol. How will I ever live without my precious alcohol? I mean, I'm gonna be sober. I'm gonna have to see you guys sober.
Oh
that's not a
no.
that's not a pretty thought or sight.
Yeah. And you might remember what you did when you were not sober.
That is a scary thought.
It's a very scary
That's a
thought.
very scary thought. Like
Like,
wake
oh
up
boy.
quite a few days and say, Jesus, what happened? Or God, what happened? And then say, oh Jesus, I remember what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, I think I threw away more rum in rituals than actually drank. Like usually I go, okay, I need rum,
Mm,
and then I take a small sip or one small gulp,
mm,
and then I use it for ritual or something like that. Of course, not if somebody hands me a very expensive one or something, but I always have rum with me just for this.
Mm.
just for an offering or give somebody else or something. Although we have at the circle, we have a coffee liquor,
Mm.
which is very nice.
Mm.
The circle water.
Circle water. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. And well, I'm just gonna give one small piece of advice to anyone out there who is new to the camp and might not know it. Um. Whatever you do, don't offer, even if it's well meant, don't offer or Red Caps or SL or the Avatar or Libertania any alcohol while you're in Tyme. You will not be doing them a favor. Offer them any kind of soft drink, some water or something, you'll make them much more happier than that. And it will stop the blue avatar from stealing my drink, because that's what he did once. You know, I met him in the Dursting Dolch, in the Thirsty Dagger. I just filled my cup with cold Coke. I was really looking forward to it because it was a very hot day. And he walks past and he says, "What are you drinking there?" And I said, the blackberry juice, which is the name we give Coke in the game, and it's blackberry juice. And he says, "Just blackberry juice?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "Excellent." And he grabs my cup and he drinks and he hands it back to me. He didn't empty it, but he was just going somewhere and he didn't have time to get himself a proper drink. So he said, just that, and then great. And I kept drinking the Coke, and then at the bottom, they sometimes have curses in the blue in the Thirsty Dagger, and I read my curse, and apparently I thought I was the Wind of Freedom. So as he had drunk first, I went to tell him that, by the way, you happen to think you're the Wind of Freedom, and he said, "Ah, so that's why." Or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but so deswegen also. So yes, inadvertent consequences can happen by being teetotal at the Drachenfest. So make
Yeah.
sure that they are supplied with non-alcoholic beverages while you're there.
Yeah.
That's very important.
But
And
generally, if you offer somebody a drink when it's very hot, don't offer alcohol
no,
first.
no,
Or at least inform them like, do you want some alcohol?
yeah,
Get some water.
yeah, water or something else. I mean, sometimes, especially in the evening, tea or something will be quite appreciated, by especially by some.
Coffee in the
Yeah,
morning.
coffee in the morning goes without question, but sort of some people may really appreciate some hot water with tea flavor in it. Some people who might sort of have to shout a lot. They may appreciate it. The vocal cords may really, really appreciate it if you offer that to them every now and then. Just putting that out
I
there.
This is why most of my bags of Lear are
Mm,
filled with coughing
mm.
drops. And I think I already gave you a lot of them as well, because there are some people, the Avatar is also one of them, is like, I
Yeah,
think you need this.
yeah.
You
No,
need this. You need this.
I've got 3 or 4 swords that I always bring with me, but I sort of know I like these and I always have them with me. And Juan Carlos, the current army commander, the first year
Mhm.
that he took over, I sort of just went to him and says, "Yeah, here, by the way, this is for you," and just put a handful of sort of cough drops and everything in his hand and said, "You're gonna need them. You're gonna need them." And he sort of like, and then he sort of came later to me and was in passing and says, "By the way, you were right. I needed them," and everything. So, yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a little bit longer than originally anticipated, but you predicted it, so well
I
done.
predicted it.
Yes, yes, no, it was very nice, especially as I said, the first interview completely in English.
Mhm.
So thank you very much for that. I
Anytime.
hope that some of these things we talked about come true and that some of them never ever even enter the realm of the possibility of becoming true.
Oh,
Would be yes. And I mean, as I said in all the other videos, but for international players, they will not have understood it. I hope to see you all very soon. It will be hopefully great. And until then, the most important thing is stay healthy. And we will see each other very soon, hopefully, then. All
yes.
right. So, once again, thank you very much to Kisa. just Kisa.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And see you all soon, guys. Bye.
Yes. See you soon. Bye.
No future was there in London for a poor man's son like me. So I left my home and I went to seek my fortune on the sea. I signed aboard a merchant ship bound for the West Indies, and 6 weeks out we tacked into the winds of piracy. There were sails on the horizon and we tried to make a run, and when we saw that black flag then our running it was done. And when those pirates boarded us they told us one by one, you can die or join our crew, me boys, time flies when you're having rum.
Time flies when you're having rum, me boys, time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough, time flies when you're having rum.
With a pistol to my forehead, then my choice was all too clear. I took leave of that merchant ship and became a buccaneer. And though they spared my life, I think that if the truth be told, I joined them for the promise of adventure, rum, and gold. The quartermaster handed me a cutlass and a gun, and as I signed their articles, the captain told me, son, us gentlemen of fortune live life fast and on the run. So step right up and take your share, time flies when you're having rum.
Time flies when you're having rum, me boys, time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough, time flies when you're having rum.
For 2 long years I sailed with them around the Spanish Main, and we captured ships from Portugal, from England, France, and Spain. And we took what we could and we gave none back, for that's the pirate's code. And the wake we left in the Caribbean Sea ran red with blood. Now the Admiralty in London sent a fleet to hunt us down, and a trader in Port Royal told them where we could be found. They surrounded us in Nassau, the captain shouted, let 'em come. The fight'll be over soon enough, time flies when you're having rum.
Time flies when you're having rum, me boys, time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough, time flies when you're having rum.
We ran the red flag up and then we readied all our guns. No quarter would we give and in return expected none. We got off one good broadside but outnumbered 10 to 1. They took out half our crew and then our pirating was done. They took us back to London town under key and lock, and the hangman's noose was swinging at the execution dock. The captain turned and said to me, we had fine sailing, son. The voyage it was over all too soon, time flies when you're having rum.
Time flies when you're having rum, me boys, time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough, time flies when you're having rum.
Now as you listen to this tale by now, I'm sure you have surmised that I slipped the hangman's cable and escaped him with my life. But how I got away, well that's another story, son. My voyages, they aren't over yet, time flies when you're having rum.
Time flies when you're having rum, me boys, time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough, time flies when you're having rum. Time flies when you're having rum, you boys, time flies when you're having rum. When you're sailing under the black flag and you're firing all your guns. When you take a Spanish treasure ship, you divide by the rule of thumb. The voyage will be over soon enough, time flies when you're having rum.
He was a nice young sailor lad.